Hey, okay, I'm live. Cool. All right. So if you guys are probably catching the playback of this, I'm just getting into the super chat questions from my last live that I did a couple hours ago. So I'm just going to go down through these because it's late. I'm tired. If anybody joins, then I may answer a few additional questions. But let's get started. So again, like I mentioned, I'm just answering the super chat questions from the last live, and then I'll go ahead and leave timestamp so you guys can watch your super chat questions. So thank you for the few people that came in and joined me. I appreciate it so much. It's late as hell and I'm tired as crap. And it's still hot. It's still freaking hot. And I don't know why I'm just allowing myself to burn up. I got AC and I'm just like, forget I'm gonna suffer. But thank you guys for being in here with me. I appreciate it. Thank you. So this live won't be too long. I just want to answer these. How many is these? 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. Just 4 questions. So for Elkie G.T, they wanted to know, what should I do with a friendship? No more string along. Thank you. Is it Brandy's? Brandy's? Thank you. I appreciate it. So let's see. For you, what should you do in regards to your friendship? And again, I'm really just answering the live chat, not live chat, but the super chat questions from my last live, just to get these done and out the way. Wheel of Fortune. Let's see what else. It is late. I'm surprised you guys are not asleep. I mean, it's 11:11. Wow. All right. Strength, 2 of Cups in reverse, 3 of Wands in reverse, and the Sun in reverse. Simple and easy. Let the friendship go. Wheel of Fortune, it's time to move on. The cycle has closed and ended. There's already resistance here. And there's some lack of impatience with the 3 of Wands in reverse, of just waiting for things to change, waiting for things to be different. There's already dissatisfaction with the Sun in reverse, and there's a disconnect, 2 of Cups here in the reverse. So I would say let it go. Like you said, no more string alongs. This doesn't feel like it's changing. So if it's not changing, the universe is telling you to change. Wheel of Fortune. So let's go ahead and get that. So next one, so it was Persian Kitty 2001. Will you get your person back, and will he change for the better? Interesting. It's like, that's what I was saying. It's 11:11. Every time I catch 11:11, it always reminds me of like New Year's, you know, when it finally hits 12 o'clock and it's like, oh my God, it's New Year's. That's how I feel when I see 11:11. When you catch it naturally, like, I don't know why it feels like a big deal to me, but that's just me being crazy. All right, so let's see. For Persian Kitty 2001, will she get her person back, and will he change for the better? Person back. Okay. Brandy's. Okay, so your question will be the only question that's in this current live that I'll answer. So I'll answer. I have 2 more super chat questions to answer after this, and then I'll answer yours, and then I'll go ahead and close off for the evening. Hey, Michael. Oh, I thought it said Michael. Michelle. Hey, Michelle. I don't know why I thought it said Michael Scott, and I literally thought of The Office, and I was about to get so excited. All right, will Persian Kitty get their person back? Will he change for the better? Hopefully you guys are doing good this evening. I know it's late, so I'm thankful that you guys are even just chilling on here with me. I'm just so grateful and thankful, because you guys could definitely be asleep right now. You guys definitely could be tucked out warm and in the bed all cuddly, but you guys are up with me, being true warriors. Okay, so Persian Kitty, will you get your person back, and will you change for the better? We actually have the Hermit here, so that is talking about introspection, reflection. So I do see inner working happening. I don't really see communication happening, though, if I'm being honest, because the Hermit and the Queen of Swords are both here. Are you open to communication? Yes. Are they open to communication? Yes, but there's not a single action card here, so I don't see this person moving towards you. I don't feel like the cycle has ended. So at some point, there's going to be some form of communication and some form of healing with the star. But right now, it feels like your person is turning their head to this connection because we do have the Four of Cups. Yeah, 1111 is magic. I promise you, it is. Seven of Cups here. I think your person's really trying to sort out a lot of ideas and thoughts in their own head right now. I feel like they're focusing on themselves and things that they need to work on. So I don't see your person coming back right now, but I do see them actually doing the work to make changes. So I will say that. Thank you guys for joining. I expect you to join. Thank you. So for Tiara, should you stay at your job or do you have better opportunities coming your way? Let's see. I'll switch decks for you. You get that? Because when I looked too quick, and when I looked, I literally saw Michael Scott, and I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah, should she stay at her current job, or should she have better opportunities coming her way? If I can shuffle. All right. Should Tiara stay at her current job? What we got? Oh, we actually got the 3. Okay, so we have unlikely within the next few months and let go. So it feels like you're not going to leave your job anytime soon. Even if you want to, I don't see you actually making the movement to leave. But within the next few months, we have let go. So I do see you leaving your current occupation within the next few months. But I don't see you leaving it right now, even if you want to. I think you're still going to stay there. Let me do one more pull. How can I step into my full feminine energy and power? I'll actually answer that question for you because there's only one question I'm going to answer, and then the rest. I'll probably do another live tomorrow and do another open forum of questions. But just to answer that directly from experience and speaking with other women that had the issue of stepping into their feminine energy, especially when they've operated either in their masculine energy or in survival mode, not knowing how to be I don't want to say submissive because submissive can be taken so the wrong way, but knowing how to be open and vulnerable and comfortable in their feminine energy. A lot of times, and I feel like this has been the hot topic of the last few videos for me, but a lot of times it stems back from our upbringing. Because you can try to step into your feminine energy, and people, and I've seen a lot of videos lately on YouTube talking about being in your feminine energy, being a high value woman, things of that nature. And they make it relate to like confidence and acting a certain way and behaving a certain way, showing up aesthetically a certain way. And honestly, if I'm gonna be honest with you, are those certain components of it? Yes, to varying degrees. The real root of stepping into your feminine energy is truly stepping into that healing work that stems from your upbringing, from the people that came before you, those conditionings that were truly placed upon you that allow you to suffer in the sense of you're more in your masculine energy. I'm so sorry. I'm going like off into that question. I have to pull her cards. But you're staying in your masculine energy and the survival mentality, and it won't serve you or ode you well. I always say when it comes to feminine energy and truly stepping into that, healing. First and foremost is healing. And I know it's easier said than done, but it doesn't matter how much you try to step into your feminine energy aesthetically, or what they would say, like, be confident in this, that, and other, third. I was going to say an example, but it was about to be a harsh example, so I'm not going to say it. But it doesn't matter how much you try to make something look good or try to step into this false sense of feminine energy. If the insides is not right, it'll show on the outside in some way, shape, or form. So I would just say that. And just keep it really generalized that way. So I'm so sorry, Tiara, that I just kind of went on a tangent in the middle of your reading. I don't even know where to begin to heal. Let me get her reading on, and then I'll answer that question for you. Because that's a really great question. And I was in the same position. years of therapy for me personally. And I was in the same position. How do I heal it? How do I actually tackle this? And a lot of times we get overwhelmed. But it's breaking it down into digestible chunks that makes it easier to start the healing process. When we try to look at it as a whole, it gets too overwhelming, and then we kind of shut down and go back into our existing patterns. And the repetitive cycle of those behaviors continue. So Tia, I'm sorry. Let me answer your question. All right, should you stay at your current job, or do you have better opportunities coming your way? So we have marriage, great fortune, distant horizon, occupation, and privileged lady. So what I would say, when you transfer or transition out of this job, I do see, because marriage talks about a contract. It doesn't have to talk about an actual marriage in that term, but it does talking about being obligated to something, or creating forming with something, or creating some form of contract with somebody, right? A marriage. So I do see you getting some form of new employment, because we have occupation here. It's at a distance, so it's not something that's going to come in right away. And again, we do have within the next few months to back that up. But with privileged lady and great fortune, when I tell you your lifestyle, your finances are going to elevate with whatever new occupation this is, I'm whole new tier. I can guarantee you that, whole new tier. This is great money here. This is elevated lifestyle, elevated status. So absolutely. Once you leave this job, I don't see you doing it now, but within the next few months, definitely a better opportunity is coming your way. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there. And then I had one more, but I didn't write down her question, so I kind of feel bad. So I'll have to get hers tomorrow. How much for a question? So that was the last question. I'll get on tomorrow, and I'll do another live with an open questions, but that was the last one. I'm tired, y'all. I'm sorry. But I want to answer Brandy's, I hope I'm saying your name right, your question. What I would say to you as far as healing, like I mentioned, breaking it down in digestible chunks, all of these unhealed wounds, issues, unresolved traumas that we currently have that reside within us, whether they're dormant or they're active, they all have a root. Everything has a root, and you can always trace the root back to some form of cause, right? So what I would say to you is, let's tackle one thing at a time. If you were to look at your shortcomings, right, within internally, the struggles that you deal with, tackling one thing at a time, what's the one shortcoming, let's start there, that you deal with most frequently? And then let's start there, leave the rest at the side. You're going to have to deal with the other shortcomings when it comes time, okay? But let's start with the one, and then when you look at that one shortcoming, where does that stem from, right? Because a lot of times we tend to look at the surface level of an issue within us that lies and harbors resentment or wounding. But we have to go beneath the surface, because once we do that, there's multiple layers. So say, for an example, you were with somebody and he was cheating, and you continued to take him back and continue to deal with him. Okay. And he kept hurting you until you finally said, you know what, I'm done, I'm going to leave. Well, what caused you to stay past the first incident? What caused you to stay past the signals? What caused you to stay past those red flags that might have looked orange and pink? And a lot of times when we look at that, we can trace them back to our prior relationships. Well, how were we acting in our prior relationships? Can we see the signs in those relationships that we ignored or that we didn't attend to, and still kept proceeding forward, right? So then we look at that. Okay, now I'm seeing the pattern that I have, right? Now that you've noticed and identified a pattern that this is something that you may have done. And again, this is only an example, but now I've identified the pattern. What is causing this pattern? Now we have to go back some more years. Well, I remember growing up, my mother wasn't emotionally available to me. My father wasn't really present. And because I wanted to be of, how can I put this? I wanted the love that my mother couldn't give me. I wanted the love that my father wasn't present to give me. It made me compromise my own self-worth and self-value to people who didn't deserve it, because I didn't receive that type of love from my childhood, right? Now, mind you, it goes more deeper than that. Families are more complex, but we're just giving a simple example. Okay, you point out that. Now let's go back a little further. Well, how was your parents' upbringing? How did your grandparents treat your mother? And how did your grandparents treat your father? And then you start to build those connections. And what happens is you start to gain greater clarity that these conditionings and these behavioral patterns were placed upon you that were outside of your control. And by recognizing that, by going all the way back and looking at these roots, you start to build this form of acceptance and understanding that, you know what, this wasn't my fault. This happened to me, but doesn't mean that I have to continue it forward. And you can really start to go within and heal, whether your parents are still around, and you can have those conversations and have those talks. And if they're not, then that's the energy of you needing to have those talks with yourself and giving self-acceptance and self-forgiveness for your parents or upbringing or situations that have impacted and shaped and molded you and your patterns that you have today. So that's just a brief, because it's there's a lot of complexities to going back and doing inner wounding healing, right? But I'll leave it at that because I'm tired and it's hot. But I love you all. I'll be back on here tomorrow because I actually really like doing this. This is kind of fun for me. So I'll be back on here tomorrow with another live. You guys come in, ask questions for free, and I'll kick it with you guys. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow and see ya.